Hello, welcome back to Digital Urim. In the previous video, we explored the early stages of incident response. We learned how to identify suspicious activity, recognize indicators of compromise, and apply containment measures to stop a threat from spreading. But containment does not mean the incident is over. Containment only stops the immediate damage. The threat may still exist inside the system. Malicious files may still remain. Credentials may still be compromised. Backdoors may still be active. And if those issues are not addressed properly, the incident can return. Today, we will continue with the next critical stages of incident response: eradication, recovery, lessons learned, and professional documentation. These stages transform a basic response into a professional one. The first stage in this second phase is eradication. Eradication means completely removing the threat and eliminating the root cause that allowed the incident to happen. This is critical because stopping visible damage is not enough. You must remove the underlying problem. Imagine this scenario. A workstation becomes infected with malware. The system has already been isolated. The spread has been stopped, but the malware still exists inside the machine. If the device is reconnected to the network without cleaning the threat completely, the attack may begin again. During eradication, security teams may remove malicious files, uninstall unauthorized software, close exploited vulnerabilities, apply missing patches, reset compromised credentials, remove persistence mechanisms or backdoors. Here is an important idea. Eradication is not hiding symptoms. Eradication is removing the real cause. And that requires careful investigation. Because if only part of the attack is removed, but the access mechanism remains, the attacker may return. Let's look at a realistic scenario. A company detects suspicious activity on a workstation. The IT team finds a malicious file and deletes it. The system begins to function normally again. Everyone assumes the incident is over. But 1 week later, the same suspicious behavior appears again. What happened? The visible file was removed, but the attacker had created a scheduled task and a hidden user account that maintained persistent access. This means the eradication process was incomplete. And here is a critical professional lesson. If you do not fully understand how the attacker entered and maintained access, the eradication process is not finished. After eradication comes recovery. Recovery does not mean simply turning systems back on. Recovery means restoring operations in a controlled, verified, and secure manner. That difference matters, because organizations often feel pressure to return to normal operations quickly. But returning too quickly, without proper validation, can reopen the same vulnerability. Recovery activities may include restoring files from clean backups, reactivating critical services, verifying system integrity, validating access permissions, monitoring systems closely after restoration. Example: a company affected by ransomware restores a server using a backup copy. That sounds correct. But before putting the server back into production, they must verify that the backup itself is clean, that the exploited vulnerability has been fixed, that compromised credentials have been replaced, and that the restored system is actively monitored. That is professional recovery. Not just restarting systems, but restoring trust in the environment. Now we arrive at one of the most underestimated but essential stages: professional documentation. An incident that is not properly documented is an incident that cannot be fully understood. Documentation is not paperwork for bureaucracy. Documentation is the official record of the incident. It answers questions such as: what happened? When did it happen? How was it detected? Which systems were affected? What actions were taken? What decisions were made and why? What impact did the incident have? What was the final resolution? Professional documentation serves multiple purposes. It helps teams understand what occurred. It supports audits and compliance. It enables communication across departments. It creates institutional memory. And it improves future incident handling. Think about this. If a similar incident occurs 6 months later, documented records can save hours of investigation and prevent repeated mistakes. Typical documentation includes incident date and time, initial detection source, indicators of compromise, affected systems, timeline of events, containment actions, eradication measures, recovery status, post-incident recommendations. And one more important point: documentation must be clear. It must be understandable. It must not depend on memory. It must be useful to others in the team. Because in professional environments, security depends on processes, not individuals. After eradication, recovery, and documentation, one final stage remains: lessons learned. This stage transforms an incident into organizational improvement. At this point, teams ask, how did this incident happen? What failed before detection? What failed during detection? What failed during response? What worked correctly? What must change to prevent recurrence? For example, a company discovers that the attack started because an administrative account did not use multi-factor authentication. The lesson learned is not just there was an attack. The real lesson is there was a specific weakness that should have been corrected earlier. After the incident, the organization may implement multi-factor authentication, improve access policies, enhance monitoring systems, provide user training, reduce unnecessary privileges. That is maturity. That is how organizations improve after incidents. Incident response is not only technical, it is operational, it is financial, it is reputational. An incident affects operations, productivity, customer trust, brand reputation, and revenue. That is why eradication, recovery, documentation, and lessons learned are not optional. They are professional requirements. Each step reduces future risk. Each step strengthens the organization. And each step reflects the maturity of the security team. Today, we completed the second phase of incident response. You learned that after containment, there is still critical work to be done. We explored how eradication removes threats, how recovery restores secure operations, why professional documentation is essential, and how lessons learned strengthen future defenses. Now you understand something important. Incident response is not just about stopping attacks. It is about restoring trust, recording events, and improving systems. In the next video, we will explore another critical professional topic: ethics, legality, and professional boundaries in cybersecurity. Because knowing what you can do is important, but knowing what you should do is essential. Understand, defend, grow.